Thank you, Ian, for joining us, for allowing us to do this interview with us.
Well, thanks very much for asking me, it's no problem.
It's very nice to visit, especially here in Mansfield. I was going to ask you a couple of questions if I may, for our
Sure.
for the members of ClubZero. Okay, what actually made you become interested in the paranormal from the beginning?
Cracky. Long story, really. Started when I was 3, had an imaginary friend. Went through till I was about 13, 14. My best friend killed himself at that age. And he came to my bedroom that evening and I realised it was the paranormal ghost I was seeing, apparition. And it just really snowballed from there. And I went to college, became a dancer, and had a serious knee injury at the age of 25. Just started really being interested in paranormal, and it just went mental, you know, because I was a dancer, big career change, and the media grabbed me. The media grabbed me and realised that there was something, you know, unusual about me, and it just went mental, you know. It's just quite a strange experience, but.
But then you have your sensitive to your psychic abilities and energies and etc. And we know that you've done it very successful as well. And you've always done a programme it's famous in France. That was a successful programme as well.
It was very successful, yeah. It's just unfortunate. I don't believe with a lot of the programming ideas, so I walked away from people like Most Wanted, Famous and Frightened, and politics of the shows are just that right at the moment, and I'm sure we'll get there in the end. You know, it's a long time now.
Would you consider yourself sceptic, believer?
It's really funny because I'm psychic or medium, people presume like you believe fully. I call myself a sceptical psychic. And I like working with people like Phil, Kieran Keith and people like that because I sit on the fence. And I mean, some days I wake up and think, shit, where's that information come from? Are we really talking to the dead or are we picking in people's minds? So I question everything, and I think everyone should. You know, I don't think we should totally believe.
That's quite right. That's exactly the same with me. When we do paranormal investigations, we take our members along with paranormal investigations. What I personally would do would be more of a theorist. I'd try to tell people, obviously coming to you with these pictures and this orb, is this, that, to look at the rational side of things, which is what we always have to do. What's your scariest place you ever visited, would you say?
I would have thought it was Chislehurst Caves at Kent, and that just goes before Christ, Neapolic, Fortress, and everything was there. People was sacrificing there, so I think there's kind of a mixture of history in there. So I think that's where the sort of good negative vibrations in there. So I think that's where I would say one of my most scared, and also the Whyman as well. The Whyman Edge is quite a weird place.
Yeah, there's a few people we know have actually gone there. We've never been.
Right.
I think it's John Humphrey.
Yeah, quite he's scary himself.
Yeah. We've seen the programmes and I'm sure a lot of people they've all seen it, but it's a place that they'd like to go to. I think we're actually going to look on the Ostrich.
Right.
But have you ever been there?
No, I've not, no.
The third oldest pub in England.
Oh, right, okay.
So
wow.
That should be interesting. What was it, may I ask you, the most memorable paranormal experience?
I think it has to be once again Chislehurst Caves because it's a documentary for Channel 5 and none of the researchers, none of the film crew, nothing would go in there with me. They'd set infrared cameras and night cameras in there for me to go in, put panic buttons in there. And there have been stories of a little girl, an apparition of a girl that would walk up to people and you know, the historians want to know whether this is true. I was in there, the cameras was rolling, saw this little girl, started communicating with her, she started walking close to me, and I knelt down to get to her level, and all of a sudden she just lashed out. And at the time she lashed out, it was quite happened, wasn't it? At the time she lashed out, she drew blood to my face, and the cameras went out, got outside, nothing on film, nothing on my face. So for me, I felt the pain, I looked down, I saw the blood myself, so I know it wasn't my imagination or anything, and people saw that on the camera itself, but nothing on footage.
I can associate with something on that calibre. We actually did an investigation in Stockholm with a radio station. It was a pub that we did on the council. It was in there. And the team we was with, we saw this glass lift and we was coming across the car. The lady who was the presenter of the radio show, she was recording this. We did a visual, she had audio, it was smashed. It got smashed into the wall. And she's over the next day, playing this on the radio. ghost hunting equipment would you not be without?
I also have a tape recorder, my dictaphone. I'm saying that I've left it this evening, but I tend to take my dictaphone, so if I go off in one, or if I'm picking messages up, within a few hours I've forgotten them, so I know the true and spirit information. So I tend to take my dictaphone so I've got that information, so I can take it home, recall what I've said, and then kind of analyse it, scrutinise it, go with the historians and see if it's true information or just something else I'm picking up on. Yeah. And that's the only way we can work, to see whether generally I'm not doing it.
Do you find you get lots of speaking thing?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that at the moment. It's sort of something I think. Do we want to hear it? You know, can we make ourselves hear that? So I'm still quite sat on the fence about big time. But it fascinates me. It does fascinate me. I think that's something that should be investigated a lot more. I'm not going to do that tonight.
There's a lot of people think to do that. EVP is my personal favourite subject. People sort of got this sound, that sound is going to be. I really love the interactive sound. We've got that many things: mobile telephones, radio signals, taxi services, and all sorts of things. Look for the interactive side of things that you guys need to do, which I told you about at the meeting. Okay, have you had any tips, may I ask, for our members who've been watching the...
Yeah, I just say to everyone, just be open, don't expect anything, and don't expect the unexpected, really. If you go there with a clear mind, something will happen, and you know, just wait and see. You know, every time I go in, I say it's an experiment, we never know what we're going to receive or what we're going to get, and that's the best information that we can get. Just don't expect anything.
Fantastic. One more last question, are you with me? I know a lot of people are very sceptical when it comes to the all. I am personally, but what's your views?
I think it's a load of bollocks, to be perfectly honest with you. Phil Whyman just laughs his head up at me because I get sent absolutely hundreds of emails, and I've not been convinced by one yet, you know, in the 25 years I'm doing this. No chance.
I think that explains it all. Mr. Lawman, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you going to be quiet then? Yeah. I'm looking at you, John, look at you.
And the camera, if you want, guys, they can see you there. Welcome, Mr. Whyman. Thank you indeed for giving your members your precious time. Just very comfortable with these questions. As we spoke to Ian earlier, so I'd ask you to say a few if I may.
That's right.
Okay, I know the guys back at the club, they want to know when did you first become interested in paranormal?
When I was about 11 years old, I used to sort of go and down to the local library. But I used to ask him to get me books from the adult section because the children's section were quite frankly a bit boring. And I used to get books like on vampires and Dracula, werewolves and everything, and they probably thought I was going to be a mass murderer or something. But I sort of progressed from there to ghosts and paranormal in general.
You've been obviously very good in that since.
Yep.
Skeptical believer, what would you consider yourself in that role?
I'd consider myself to be an accepting, sceptical person, if you like. Not blatantly sceptical.
No.
I'm sort of just hovering on.
Keeping it on.
Yeah. Because I've not, to be honest with you, had anything that sort of convinced me solidly that there are such things as ghosts or spirits. That's from a personal point of view, from my own experiences.
Yeah. Well, I was actually saying myself before that I don't believe we can prove the existence of ghosts, but we can prove the existence of strange occurrences.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, if science and the scientific community actually proves the existence or disproves the existence of ghosts or spirits, then that means that people are experiencing something, and you've still got that to kind of investigate, if you like. So
that's very true. You think if scientific proof is actually brought here, is actually given to the world, if the world accept it, would it believe?
I don't know. It's a difficult question. I think if it was solidly based on scientific analysis and investigation, then I think more people will probably be willing to believe the outcome of whatever they present.
Yeah. I know you're all believers, you're disbelievers, and you've got those keeping them all in mind. And I suppose for the disbelievers, nothing really to prove.
No.
You know, but obviously we know there's things that go on. Okay, what is your scariest place you've ever visited, I might ask?
Scariest place I've ever visited?
Spookiest location.
The spookiest location for me would be, even though not an awful lot paranormal happened there, Manor in Wales. The atmosphere is just so electrifying, if you like. But not an awful lot happened, but it left an impression on me because it was so spooky, you know.
It's stuck in your mind.
Exactly, yes. When you turn the lights off, at one point there was just two people in there, was myself and the Cole Beatty from the Most Haunted Show. And the rest of the crew were in a separate building at the time. So there's only two of us in there. And we actually split and separated. He went into the third floor, and I was downstairs, and it was pitch black. And it was very, very spooky and creepy. And I didn't like it one bit, to be honest with you, but still did it.
No, I mean, that's why we can go to places, and I think the dark adds a lot of fear things.
Exactly, yeah.
Usually that edge that you need.
I'm not particularly keen on the dark, and I never have been since I was a little child. But as I say, it doesn't let me stop me from doing things that I want to do, like paranormal investigating.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's there, we know things go on, and there's people that and yourself that, you know, it's really things.
Exactly.
Okay, thanks very much for that. Your most memorable paranormal experience?
Most memorable paranormal experience?
Quite a lot of those, any that sort of stick out? Specifically?
That's a difficult question. I'm trying to go through, because I've had quite a few incidents of where I thought something or somebody's whispered in my ear or actually spoken to me in my ear, and there's nobody there. When I turn around, there's nobody near me. One incident that I remember quite vividly is when I was investigating a Muckaber collection in Norfolk, I guess, and I was walking around with these World War II armed vehicles, and something sort of, well, I swear now, I'm a fairly big bloke, I'm 6 foot, I was about 15 stone, 14 stone at the time. And something pushed me with that much physical force that I actually moved to the side. And I immediately turned around thinking it was one of the crew members. And the nearest crew member was, I think she was about 8 feet away. So there's no way she could have touched me. Nobody else was near me. I thought at the time it was a bit strange because what else could it have been? I mean, I didn't imagine it. I mean, I didn't imagine being pushed and then moving at the same time. So I don't know. It goes down as sort of being unexplained.
Something that's going to stay with you, isn't
it? Yeah.
Did it not look
what
happened? Searching for answers.
But I'm just one of those people that unfortunately seems to miss an awful lot of the action. I mean, I could be in a room by myself and a vigil in the next room, or hell could be breaking loose. There's a coach and 4 come through the door, or the wall kind of thing, and I'm in the next room, nothing happens. I'm obviously completely, I'm only like 6 feet away. But that's the kind of thing I get myself into.
Would you say, from your own experience, going about your day-to-day thing, obviously when you're in the paranormal investigation, you do seances performed or whatever that's being performed, would you find in your own experience that talking out amongst yourselves, just doing your own thing, might produce more activity than actually looking for these things?
Yeah, I mean, if I was doing a proper investigation, and Ian and myself have done a couple before, we tend not to use seances, to be honest, and sort of, I don't know, gimmicky side of things, if you like. I think it's a bit gimmicky, or the table tilting and that kind of thing. But that's just my personal opinion. And I think we get best results if we're just being normal and acting normal, chatting amongst yourselves about everyday occurrences and what you've done throughout the day and that kind of thing, rather than specifically sitting there and trying to sort of concentrate on experiences something. I think you get a lot more results if you're just natural.
Yeah, it's happened with us. That's the reason why I asked it, because it's happened with us. We have done seances, and there's some time that we have had results, not outstanding results, but we've had more results just from talking like we're doing ourselves now. It's as though that these energies are there feeling like they're being left out or being ignored. Exactly. We're still here, guys, Okay, may I ask you, what piece of ghost hunting equipment would you least be without?
Sorry, Ian's in the background and you can't see him, he's pointing to himself. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Probably a digital, nowadays, digital voice recorder. Because you never know what you're going to get when you're analysing on your computers, because nowadays you can hook them up with your computer and go through the data you've got there. I'm not a massive believer in EMF meters, I must admit. The only thing that the scientific group to detect is changes in the electromagnetic field. And if ghosts or spirits, if you like, don't operate on the field of detectability from an EMF meter point of view, then it doesn't matter how many you've got, you're not going to pick anything up with it. And you've always got that slight worry that you're picking something up from an electrical device, from an appliance, that you can't see. For instance, like stuck in the walls or behind the wall or whatever, depending on what EMF meter you use. So I'd sort of choose a digital voice recorder, I think, so I can analyse the data better. Or notepad and pencil.
No, that's a good one. Well, most people would say it in the EMF meeting. I probably would have said that myself in the EMF meeting. But do you think, I think it's a possibility, I don't know your views on that, is maybe as we progress in this day and age with the equipment that's coming out, and stuff that's available to us, do you think some of this stuff can actually be responsible for creating certain paranormal phenomena that's going on around us?
Possibly. I've never been a massive fan of loads of technical equipment.
Sort of back to basics.
Yeah, I prefer the sort of Harry Price basics, where you just use your basic tape machines or whatever at the time, notepad, paper, and listening, and your own sort of senses.
Well, some of the best photographs was caught years ago by the photos.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I think people tend to lose track of what they're actually there for when they're sat in front of a bank of equipment. And do you know what I mean? I think it loses some of the atmosphere as well involved with it, and you tend not to rely on your senses an awful lot, which I think is wrong, because your senses, I think, can pick up a lot more than probably a computer could.
More in tune.
Yeah, and you've got a more hands-on approach if you do it without bags of technical equipment.
Fantastic. There is a question I do need to ask you, if I may. What have you been doing yourself since leaving Most Haunted?
What have I been doing myself since leaving Most Haunted? Annoying Ian. Pulling Ian's hair out, stranded at the time. No, not really. No, I do these overnight events for members of the public to come on to. I'm still constantly doing bits and pieces of media work. For instance, I just finished being involved with, which is still being filmed actually, a Channel 4 show, which is one of these top 100 TV blind radio, which is due for airing in April, I think, next year. So I'm still doing bits and pieces. I've got a project I want to get off the ground myself. But I've got to discuss that with a couple of other members of the group. Just upstairs somewhere out of the way, being quiet and stuff.
Fantastic. Brilliant stuff. Lastly, may I ask, any tips you could give our members on conducting paranormal investigations?
Yeah, here's a tip for you. Don't eat yellow snow. No, not really. That's an awful lot. No, I mean, I think the best tip that I could possibly give people if they want to do paranormal investigating is try and be as rational as you can and try to eliminate all the other causes, natural or caused by machines or appliances. Try and eliminate all those causes first for supposed paranormal activity. Once you've done that, you can probably start thinking maybe it was something to do with paranormal activity, but only after you've ruled out all the other sources.
Fantastic.
And don't lose your head, don't get carried away, and don't let your mind run away with you.
Fantastic tips. Mr. Whyman, thank you indeed for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.